Live from WRAL News Headquarters in Raleigh, your number one source for local news. WRAL News, coverage you can count on.
The low pressure system that brought all the heavy rain yesterday still impacting us today. I'll walk you through the hour-by-hour forecast for the rest of today coming up.
That nameless storm has wreaked massive damage along the coast of North Carolina. We're live at Carolina Beach with a look at the water levels there.
Today is the day we'll find out what will happen to Red Hat Amphitheater in downtown Raleigh. We'll be at the city council meeting with the results of a vote to move the venue.
That rain is lingering in the northern half of our viewing area this afternoon. Good Tuesday afternoon to you. I'm Jeff Hogan.
And I'm Renee Chu. Thanks for joining us. Some encouraging news. Some spots will see a bit of sunshine before the day is over. Can't wait for that. We have live team coverage of conditions here in the Triangle. Still looking gloomy out there all the way to the coast.
Couple bright spots there. Some sun peeking through. Meteorologist Amy Wilmuth is in the WRAL Severe Weather Center with a look at who's still in line for more rain.
We still have the rain coming down around the Triangle. We have this area of rain that's just been fairly relentless over the last couple of hours. It's generally light to moderate rain, not a huge concern, but some isolated ponding on roadways. Localized flooding will be possible, but some of that heavier rain moving into Chapel Hill right now, just moving away from RDU out at the airport. So we still have some scattered showers. No thunderstorms with this, but we do have that potential for some isolated flooding as we head into the second half of our day. We also have some scattered showers, some very light rain in parts of Johnston County, back into Wayne County, Wilson County, getting some of the light rain as well. The 6-hour rainfall totals, you can see who's had the rain for most of the day today. It's been the northern and northeastern half of the viewing area, anywhere from about 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch has fallen, and then some heavier rainfall totals over the northern part of the coast. But thankfully, the southern coast that got really hammered with a lot of rain yesterday, they are getting a break today, and a lot of cleanup taking place down in the southern part of our coast. The flood risk for today is in the northern half of the viewing area. It's a low-end risk, but we can't rule out some localized flooding in some spots, especially along the North Carolina-Virginia state line. Hour by hour for the rest of the day today, about a 30 to 40% chance for some rain in the Triangle area. That goes up to about a 50 to 60% chance in our northern counties later on today. And then overnight tonight, it's mainly dry. This is a live look at the WRAL Gardens. We're still getting some rain here. It's generally light, but it's also very warm and muggy. 74 in Raleigh, dew points in the low 70s. Some drier air works in just in time for the weekend. I'll take a close look at that forecast coming up.
All right, checking the road conditions this noon hour. We're seeing a bit of a slowdown in the eastbound lanes right there along the belt line, right around Jones-Franklin Road. But once you get past the Western Boulevard exit, it's clear sailing. You're looking at maybe like a 3 to 5 minute delay. A couple of incidents to tell you about. This one is a disabled vehicle on Sunnybrook Road in the eastbound lane near Newvern Avenue, and a crash on Poole Road and near I-440 westbound, not causing any problems for you in that particular area. But just watch for some police activity. We do want to remind you that Wade Avenue remains closed between Dixie Trail and Faircloth Street as a result of a tree down. There were some power outages there. Crews are still working on that area right now, but we'll keep an eye on that, and of course be mindful of that as you're going through that area. Hillsborough Street is your best option. Taking a look at some live conditions on I-40 and Aviation Park, where you see the rain is coming down. You can hardly see the traffic because of all the rain coming down. On the other side of the Beltline, this is 440 and Wake Forest Road. Traffic is moving at a steady clip, but be safe out there.
Ken, thanks. Some homeowners will have to wait a few more hours for their power to be restored. That's because a tree fell and took down electrical lines early this morning. Raleigh police closed Wade Avenue between Faircloth Street and Dixie Trail after the tree fell, blocking the road. The power went out around 4 this morning. We're told it could take until 4 p.m. to restore it. WRAL's Laura Levine spoke with the man who lives in the neighborhood.
Tell me, how's your morning going?
It's eventful. It's been eventful. We knew there was a lot of rain coming, and typically we'll have down trees, but when Wade shuts down, it seems like the town, or this side of town, shuts down.
It's important to avoid any downed power lines because they could still be live.
And happening right now in the WRAL Live Center, we're keeping an eye on the power outages for you with Duke Energy's map. They've gone up and down throughout the morning and afternoon. Right now, we're seeing about 391 people without power in the Knightdale area. If you click on that, it says the cause is unknown. They are en route to check this out. Up in Durham, there's about 200 people without power right now, the Durham-Chapel Hill area. That's because of fallen trees and damaging equipment. They say the estimated restoration there is about 3:45. And then if you come back down to Raleigh, you'll see right by Wade Avenue and 440, there's about 27 people without power, an unknown cause there. Estimated time of restoration 4 p.m. for those people.
It is being called a once-in-a-thousand-years event. More than a foot of rain fell in Carolina Beach, washing away roads and trapping people in their cars. WRAL's Monica Casey is live in New Hanover County right now. Monica, has that rain stopped yet?
Luckily, the rain has stopped and the wind has died down, but the floodwaters have a long way to go in terms of receding at this point. We are on Lake Park Boulevard. You can see still some flooding over here behind me, but I want to show you how much better it's gotten than how it was yesterday. Down over here, that second stoplight down there by the Bank of America, that's where we were for hours yesterday. We couldn't even get past this block, all of this completely covered in water. So this part of the road is dry. That's some good news, but this part of the road is still closed off as of right now. We have been seeing a lot more people out and about here today, helping each other with cleanup. Most of the businesses along this stretch are closed. I spoke with Breck Price, who does maintenance at the Starlight Inn. He tells me luckily there weren't any guests staying there last night, but a few of the rooms were flooded.
It was definitely rough. Visibility was poor. Couldn't see. Sounded like little rocks hitting the windshield because of the rain, but it's just horrible.
We also went into the sushi bar next door. They had a ton of flooding. The owner there tells me they got most of the water out last night, but they have a lot of cleanup left to do, and they are not sure when they'll be able to reopen. We know the flooding is even worse further south at the island. Down at the end of the street here is a lake, and that whole area is impassable right now. A car still stuck down there at the end of the street. I've spoken with a few people here today who tell me Curie Beach has really gotten the worst of the weather, and a lot of the roads down in that direction are still not passable either. We will try to be heading down there next to show you what's what over there. Live in Carolina Beach, Monica Casey, WRAL News.
Never get caught off guard by severe weather. Just be sure you have the WRAL News app installed on your phone, and then turn on the alerts to get notified about severe weather in your location. It's free wherever you download your apps. Breaking news this noon, a federal grand jury has indicted Sean Diddy Combs on sex trafficking, racketeering, and kidnapping charges. According to the indictment, Combs faked romantic relationships and then used force, threats of force, and coercion to cause victims to engage in extended sex acts. Investigators say afterward, Combs and the victims typically received IV fluids to recover from the physical exertion and drug use. His lawyers say Combs is outright innocent. If convicted of all counts, Combs faces decades in prison.
A decision is expected today for the future of the Red Hat Amphitheater. Raleigh City Council is meeting to vote on a plan that would close a portion of a downtown road. WRAL's Sean Gallagher is live at Red Hat's current location. And Sean, some people already have a feeling as to how this vote is going to go.
Yeah, that's right, Renee. And basically where I'm standing right now is where the current amphitheater will end up according to what this plan says at the moment. But that's a plan that still needs to be voted on. And one of the people that is in opposition of this plan that would close a road just over there, he says that he just doesn't think that there are enough votes in opposition to stop this. And there's a newly posted document online that backs that up. Now, the city posted this draft of a resolution to close South Street should the council vote in favor later today. It says after gathering information from a public hearing, closing South Street is not contrary to the public interest. Today's meeting will also discuss the future of transportation around Red Hat, including some traffic changes to help drivers heading east and west on South navigate that closure. It's a really big blow to Jay Spain, who's been vocal in his opposition about the move. He's still holding out hope that something can be done to stop this.
I believe we can make it change, but it's really going to depend on the backbone of several councilors to vote against it. And the small businesses have put so much pressure on this, them versus us, when we're really on the same side.
Red Hat has its plans outlined should this be approved today, with groundbreaking on the new site here expected early next year, with the intention of it being opened in 2026. But the amphitheater in its current capacity will operate through next year. Now, the resolution that was posted online is just a draft. It still needs to be voted on. That council meeting starts at 1 o'clock, and we'll be there and bring you updates later today. Sean Gallagher, WRAL News in downtown Raleigh.
Today, the Wake School Board will review the response to school threats after a school evacuation on a hot day in August led to kids getting sick. The response in question happened at Heritage High School on August 29th. Officials evacuated the school in Wake Forest at 10:30 in the morning because of a bomb threat. Many students stood unprotected from the sun for about 90 minutes. 3 kids needed to go to the hospital because of heat-related issues. 20 to 30 others were treated on scene. The school board will talk about the timeline of what happened and discuss ways to improve.
And happening right now in the WRAL Live Center, at least 8 people are dead, more than 2,200 hurt after handheld pagers simultaneously exploded in parts of Syria and Lebanon. This is video from the AP. Again, 2,700 people were hurt, 200 critically hurt. Officials are pointing the finger at Israel. This was a coordinated attack. A Hezbollah official said the handheld pagers heated up and then they exploded. Lebanon's health ministry is calling on all hospitals to be alert right now. A lot of those wounded are also children.
Next at noon, disturbing evidence found in an 11-year-old Florida boy's home. The weapons police recovered after the boy made threats on 2 schools.
Also, it's National Voter Registration Day. How to get signed up if you are not yet registered.
And if you are registered and plan to mail in your ballot at 12:30, why election experts say it could take a while to count them.
Keep watching WRAL News over the air Channel 34 and Spectrum Channel 1257.
An 11-year-old boy in Florida is charged with a felony for having a kill list and making threats at 2 different schools. Dozens of weapons were recovered in his bedroom. Look at this cache. The tip came through an app after the 11-year-old got on a group FaceTime call with several of his friends, and he allegedly showed them all his guns and weapons. They looked real at the time, and the other students didn't know they were fake.
It's not a video game. Life is real. If you get hurt, you get hurt for real. I mean, that's it. And it sucks that they have no respect for life.
The boy told deputies it was all a joke, but the sheriff says students and parents face serious consequences for making threats that disrupt schools and use up law enforcement resources.
We are exactly 7 weeks from Election Day, and if you're not registered to vote yet, today's the day. Alexis McAdams explains how you can take part in National Voter Registration Day.
With your vote this November, it's going to be the most important election ever in the history of our country.
The power is with the people, and you are going to make all the difference in the outcome of this race.
Roughly 244 million Americans are eligible to vote this year. And if you want to cast your ballot on November 5th but haven't registered yet, now is the time. September 17th is National Voter Registration Day.
If you're 18 years old and a citizen, make sure that you're registered to vote. And one of the things that's really critical is making sure that your registration is current and at your current address.
The U.S. Election Assistance Commission says the process is quick and simple.
Americans have a lot of ways to get registered. Vote.gov is a great way. It gets you to your state or local sign up. If your state has online registration, which most states do, but you can get registered, as I mentioned, in most states at motor vehicle agencies or certainly visiting your state or local election official.
Once registered, you have multiple ways to cast your vote ahead of Election Day. 38 states and Washington, D.C. offer both early voting and mail-in ballots to all voters. 8 additional states allow early voting but require an eligible reason for mail-in ballots.
The main thing for people to remember is however you choose to vote is great, but it's about making that plan to vote looking to your state or local election official, figuring out how you're permitted to vote in your state.
For the states that offer it, early in-person voting starts as early as September 20th, with Virginia leading the way. But no matter how you cast your ballot, officials say the most important thing is that you vote.
Yeah.
That was Alexis McAdams reporting. To check the status of your registration, polling place, and voter history, visit the State Board of Elections website at ncsbe.gov.
Meta is banning Russian media networks from its social media platforms. This new ban was prompted by what the tech company calls foreign interference. The ban comes days after the U.S. sanctioned Russian state media company RT News for reportedly spreading disinformation about the upcoming election and propaganda to millions of people around the world. Meta previously took down hundreds of fake social media accounts spreading Russian indoctrination about the war in Ukraine. Meta is also taking steps to protect young users online. Today, Instagram unveiled changes that make the accounts of millions of teenagers private. It also enhances parental supervision and sets messaging restrictions. Meta says users under 16 years old will need a parent's approval to change restricted settings, which also filter out offensive words.
Time now is 12:17, and we know our coastal communities were by far the winners as far as rainfall totals. But around here, we got significant amounts of rain as well, Amy.
We did, yeah. Very common, 4 to 6 inches even. And this came in from Ginny in Holly Springs, over 5.5 inches. Right at 5.5 inches is what she had in Holly Springs. So we had a lot of rain yesterday. It's still coming down in some locations. It's not very heavy right now, but if you're running some errands and you're in the Triangle area, you'll probably want the rain gear, you want the umbrella. We do have some scattered showers, no lightning, no storms with this, just some light to occasionally moderate rain that could lead to some additional ponding on roads. Haven't had any issues in the last few hours, which is certainly good news. I want to show you the big picture here. This is the remnants of that potential tropical cyclone 8 that brought all the heavy rain to the southern part of the coast yesterday. Thankfully, they are dry right now and they need to clean up. So this is very good for them. The northern part of the coast, though, they've had 3 to 4 inches of rain today. And from around the Triangle and points to the north, that's where most of our rain has been focused. And that's where we'll see the focus for the afternoon and during the evening commute as well. We have a boundary that's over that area. And so with the daytime heating, we could see some isolated showers and storms develop in our northern counties that could produce some heavy rain. And that could lead to some localized flooding. We do have a low end threat for flooding today. Yesterday, it was a medium threat. Today, it's a low end threat for Wake County and points to the north. Here's 10 p.m. tonight. Things really settling down overnight tonight. We only have a 20% chance for rain. Otherwise, just mostly cloudy, maybe a little bit of fog overnight tonight. And then Wednesday morning, mainly cloudy in the morning. It's going to be a gray start. A few sprinkles possible, but the morning commute should be pretty quiet tomorrow. At lunchtime, can't rule out an isolated shower, and we'll still have a boundary over us tomorrow. So a stray shower or storm will be possible in the afternoon and evening, really anywhere. And that's going to be the case Thursday as well. And then we'll start to really dry out by Friday. It's 74 right now in Raleigh. This is a gloomy picture here, just very gray with some light rain coming down in Raleigh Western Boulevard. The road's certainly wet. The dew point is 71 as well, so it's very muggy outside. Hour by hour today, just plan for some scattered showers, maybe an isolated storm, especially in northern counties. High temperatures climb into the upper 70s this afternoon, and then we fall back down into the upper 60s by 11 p.m. tonight. Rain chances today, we have scattered showers, a few storms possible. Same thing Wednesday and Thursday, and then by the time we get to Friday, it's just a 20% chance for rain. And we'll start to dry out once we get to the weekend. The low pressure system will move away from us. Drier air will settle in. The humidity starts to lower over the weekend as well, especially by the time we get to Sunday. So outdoor plans are a go this weekend. Partly cloudy on Saturday. It's still pretty warm with a high of 80, but the humidity drops. The dew point likely in the mid 60s on Saturday. Sunday is the first official day of fall. We'll have mostly sunny skies. The dew point will be in the low 60s. That'll feel nice. Mostly sunny, 76 for the high. So Sunday is looking really nice. But still, we have some scattered showers and storms today, Wednesday, Thursday. We'll dry it out Friday. Looks like Football Friday will be dry, and then dry over the weekend as well. Coming up, we're going to take a look at the river flooding potential. I'll have details on that coming up in the next half hour.
Amy, thanks. Sporadic power outages were reported across the state during the last 24 hours. To combat the impact, Duke Energy is using what it calls self-healing technology. Today at 4, how it works to get your lights back on faster when the power goes out.
Plus, these homes in Rodanthe on the Outer Banks are a mere few minutes from collapsing. WRAL showed you this Drone 5 video yesterday. Today at 5:45, we check in with the homeowners about the ordeal. They are left just watching and waiting. Teamsters could decide who to endorse as a presidential candidate as early as this week. Members met with Democratic candidate Kamala Harris yesterday, months after union representatives met with her Republican rival Donald Trump in January. Most major unions, including the United Auto Workers Union and the nation's largest teachers union, have endorsed Harris so far. Teamsters will present poll results from its members to the executive board tomorrow. OpenAI says its Safety and Security Committee will now become an independent board oversight committee. The committee was first introduced in May as OpenAI dealt with controversy over security processes. The company says it will now be in charge of the safety and security processes guiding OpenAI's model deployment and development.
Corporate workers at Amazon can kiss the hybrid work week goodbye. The company ordered employees in Seattle to return to work in the office 5 days a week. Maddie White reports.
A lot of really good people because of this, and not because they want to leave. They're kind of being forced to.
This current Amazon employee asked us not to share her identity out of concern for retaliation.
I think it probably costs a lot less to leave people, or to have people choose to leave on their own rather than having to do forced layoffs.
The current employee also believes working parents,
we're all over the state,
will be disproportionately impacted by a 5-day-a-week return to office requirement.
If you're a parent or if you're a caregiver, it's going to be a huge impact.
As Washington's biggest employer, local experts say Amazon's full return to office will likely worsen traffic in and around Seattle and create a hotter housing market.
More people means more economic activity.
But downtown associations are rejoicing. In Bellevue,
we already saw a big uptick in pedestrian traffic when they went to 3 days a week.
Amazon's footprint is growing.
This step really reflects their commitment to the community.
Similarly, the Downtown Seattle Association is calling this a home run for downtown. But this worker fears for Amazon families, this could instead be a swing and a miss.
I know some friends that spent a lot of time on LinkedIn today. I think we're going to lose some really top quality people and leadership because of this.
Now, to prepare for the influx of workers, Amazon is adding more shuttle services and ride-sharing options to help with worker commutes. Employees are still expected to be in the office 5 days a week, even if their assigned workspace is not ready by January 2nd.
The morning got off to a rough start for some people in our viewing area when crews hope to restore power after lines were damaged during severe weather.
Absentee ballots are already in the mail in some states. And while each state has its own rules on when those ballots must be returned, the U.S. Postal Service is assuring voters that they can handle the load. First, here's a look at your winning lottery numbers.
Shot in 4K ultra high definition. Your number one source for local news. WRAL News. Coverage you can count on.
People in a West Raleigh neighborhood are waiting for the lights to come back on after a falling tree knocked out power. It happened around 4 this morning along Wade Avenue. WRAL's Laura Levine gives us a look at restoration efforts.
We're standing here at the intersection of Wade Avenue and Dogwood, exactly where that tree came tumbling down overnight. Crews have been working for several hours at this point. We know when that tree came down, it fell on a large power pole, causing it to snap in half and took some power lines with it. And power lines were seen scattered all across the road. Neighbors tell me they have been without power since 4 a.m. Duke Energy informed them it wouldn't be restored until 4 p.m. Tell me, how's your morning going?
It's eventful. It's been eventful. We knew there was a lot of rain coming.
Brett Hartsfield, he was out walking his dog with his son Elliot when they noticed the tree down.
It's pretty rare, but when it does, it's usually a huge event, especially if it's in rush hour. when everyone's trying to get to work, morning, school, this guy's got to get to school, so it affects a lot of people.
We also saw a single vehicle crash at the intersection of Wade Avenue and Faircloth earlier this morning, and RPD is advising drivers to avoid this area if possible. We'll keep you updated on when the power is restored. Laura Levine, WRAL News in Raleigh.
Part of NC-12 took a hit on the Outer Banks. It is closed after storms caused the ocean to wash over that road. Pretty used to it in that area. NCDOT posted this picture to its Facebook page. You can see the sand and water just completely covering that road on Ocracoke Island. It's not clear when the road will reopen. Ferry service as well between Hatteras and Ocracoke has been suspended. You can always find live weather updates on the free WRAL News app. It allows you to watch radar in real time to see when storms are in your area. Be sure you have that WRAL News app installed with the alerts turned on.
Election Day is exactly 7 weeks from today. As more and more mail-in ballots roll out across the country, Postal Service officials are working to ensure a smooth process. Sean Langiel takes a closer look at why election experts say it could take a while for every state to tally results.
As more states prepare to start sending out mail-in ballots to voters, U.S. Postmaster General Louis DeJoy is alerting state election officials that the Postal Service will be ready for the surge in documents ahead of the November election. In a letter, DeJoy says postal employees are already receiving bolstered training, adding officials will work to resolve concerns that some properly addressed election mail can be returned to sender. But just because mail-in ballots are going out with more than a month until the election, it doesn't mean all votes will be counted before then.
On election night, we can expect to be in suspense.
That's because some critical swing states like Pennsylvania and Wisconsin have laws that prevent mail ballots from being opened until Election Day.
Michigan was the third swing state that had this issue, but the Democratic legislature and its Democratic governor passed and signed a law to change that. So now they can open their mail ballots several days before Election Day.
Michigan's process is now similar to how most other states handle mail-in ballots.
And it's the reason why some states with lots of mail ballots, like Florida, actually report their results faster.
Still, other states that see high amounts can take longer to count.
In Arizona, you can drop off a mail ballot as late as at the time polls close on Election Day itself.
And because political experts say it's normal for vote counts to start changing once states factor in mail-in ballots.
It's important not to jump to conclusions with very fragmentary information on election night. Wait for the race call.
Absentee ballots for military and overseas citizens for the general election must be sent out this Friday under a new schedule released by the State Board of Elections. The board also set September 24th as the date to start sending absentee ballots to other voters who've requested ballots by mail. Ballots were ready to be sent out earlier this month in North Carolina. Court rulings requiring the removal of Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s name from the ballot delayed that process.
This week, presidential and vice presidential candidates will be making several visits to North Carolina. First, Democratic vice presidential nominee Tim Walz will be here today. Walz is expected to speak in Asheville a little later this afternoon. He will travel to North Carolina after being in Georgia at an event this morning. That's another crucial swing state. Senator J.D. Vance will be in Raleigh tomorrow. Former President Trump's running mate will speak at a rally at Union Hall downtown. The doors open at noon. Vance is expected to speak at 3. As for the former president, he'll also be in North Carolina later this week. Mr. Trump is scheduled to speak in Wilmington Saturday afternoon. WRAL will cover all the candidates' visits whenever they're here, now through Election Day.
Wake County Libraries is launching free online tutoring services with Tutor.com. All Wake County Library card holders can take part. It offers students, parents, and adults access to personalized help in a wide range of subjects. The most popular subjects are also offered in Spanish. You can find the link at wake.gov/libraries. As we age, it's important to take care of not just our bodies, but our brains. 3 tangible things you can do to reduce your risk of dementia.
Plus, pregnancy changes a woman's body and her brain. What new research reveals about how the brain prepares for one of life's biggest changes? You can watch WRAL News live anytime on WRAL.com or the WRAL app on your streaming device.
Welcome back as we look live at Chapel Hill and the rain coming down there on Franklin Street. This is all still from that coastal storm system that dumped a lot of rain across our viewing area. You're watching WRAL News, available on YouTube TV and the WRAL app on your TV or streaming device.
Healthy Aging Month is observed throughout September. It's a time to raise awareness about the physical and mental well-being of older adults. As we age, it's important to protect against risk factors associated with Alzheimer's disease. While genetics can play a role, there are ways people can reduce certain risks they can have more control over. Not getting enough sleep could spell trouble, as well as not eating proper nutrients.
Poor diet, you might have lack of key nutrients and minerals, and that we know for sure, based on empirical evidence, is associated with like forgetfulness, memory loss, and risk for dementia.
Besides living a healthy lifestyle, staying socially engaged is also key to maintaining a healthy mind.
Pregnancy changes a woman's brain more than was previously known. Researchers found decreases in brain tissues that control sensations like speech, thinking, and memory. But they found increases in other areas that help the brain communicate and process information. By 2 months postpartum, some brain changes had reverted back to pre-pregnancy levels. Others remain for up to 2 years after birth. Experts stress the changes are not the same for every woman. The FDA has cleared Apple's new sleep apnea detection feature for use. About 30 million Americans are affected by sleep apnea. Only about 6 million people know they have it. Apple's new feature is meant to help people who may be reluctant to test for the condition. The watch will monitor a user's breathing disturbances while they sleep and display nightly metrics in the health app. Health experts warn insurance companies may not pay for sleep apnea therapies based solely on the watch's data.
Walking to make a difference. Next, we talk with organizers about their efforts to expand access to mental health resources and how you can help.
Plus, a rock from Mars will be displayed to the public for the first time next year. Where it was discovered, just ahead. September is Suicide Prevention Month, a time to raise awareness about this stigmatized topic. This Saturday, a local organization will host a 5K run walk to help raise money for local campuses to improve services. And joining us now to talk about the inaugural walk for all mankind for suicide prevention are the organizers. We have Sydney Young and Brianna Walker. Thank you so much for joining us, ladies. Sid, we'll start with you. You're with the Chi Rho Omega chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority. Talk about why the organization was so inspired to host this type of event.
Thank you. So the Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated Chi Rho Omega chapter is so excited to host this event because it is just so necessary for our communities. Personally, I was a mental health counselor at a historically black college in Hampton, Virginia, and then subsequently at UNC actually. And so I got to see firsthand how crucial it is that we provide these types of services, especially to our young adults. You can find the information out there, but research has shown that there is a significant increase in both suicidal ideation and completed suicides, especially amongst this age group. And it's also important to us as an organization to help reduce the stigma, primarily in Black and brown communities, that we are a little bit hesitant to access mental health resources and to discuss things like suicide.
And you want to destigmatize this, bring awareness to this. It certainly takes a team effort to do that. And you partnered with a foundation to do that. Brianna, talk about your role in this.
Thank you. I am the president of the Cultivating Resources and Opportunities Foundation, a partner of the sorority. We have been awarding scholarships to high school seniors since 2013, and by serving as a partner on the Walk for All Mankind fundraiser, we are able to further support the higher education experience of students by fundraising for mental health services. And we anticipate that some of our future scholarship recipients will be attending historically black colleges and universities.
So this is the first 5K, but certainly this isn't the first time that you focused on mental health and well-being for AK Incorporated. Tell us about some of the past events focusing on this.
Absolutely. So just this past May, we had our second annual mental health fair. It was located in Wake Forest, which is a part of one of our service areas. And so that event was, again, based to just help to reduce the stigma and to provide awareness for all members of our community and for the communities that our chapter serves.
So this inaugural 5K is this Saturday at Nightdale Station Park. You can go ahead and sign up for that, and the information is there. As always, if you or someone you know is experiencing a crisis, dial the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline at 988. You can call, text, or chat with caring counselors about whatever you're facing. We want to let people know there are always better days ahead. Sydney and Brianna, thank you so much for talking with us. We appreciate you, and good luck with your event.
Thank you.
All right. Jeff?
And ladies, we're going to make sure that the weather is perfect for your event. We're going to clear it all out. But I tell you right now, Amy Wilmoth here in the WRAL Severe Weather Center, we're counting up these new totals, brand new, just in. That is incredible for Carolina Beach.
It is. It really is historic. The rain that they had yesterday, these numbers coming to us from the National Weather Service in Wilmington, sending us this update. Almost 21 inches of rain at Carolina Beach. That is unbelievable. Almost 20 inches in Southport, St. James, almost 19 inches, over 8.5 at Holden Beach, and over 4 inches in Wilmington. So they're cleaning up today. The rain has stopped for the southern part of our coast, which is good because it's still a mess down there. It's the third wettest year so far for RDU, 42.89 inches. A lot of rain we've had this year, and we still have some rain chances. In fact, it's still raining across the triangle. We have scattered showers. Now, this rain is slowly starting to move to the north. It's just taking its time doing so. So we still have scattered showers, no lightning showing up, but we see additional rain developing back toward Greenville. That's going to be moving to the west and northwest in the coming hours. So just keep the umbrella handy for the next several hours, and really we'll have the chance for rain on and off for the rest of the work week, especially today, tomorrow, and Thursday. It'll mainly be in the afternoon and evening. We could have some isolated rumbles of thunder. Localized flooding is possible. We can't rule that out after all the rain that we've had. Additional rain, any heavy downpours, that will lead to additional ponding and perhaps some localized flooding. And it's also causing some concerns with area rivers. This is the main one that we'll be watching, the Neuse at Smithfield. It's currently at almost 14 feet. The forecast is 17.2 feet. It's minor impacts. It really just impacts part of the Neuse Riverwalk. It will crest Wednesday morning. We'll keep an eye on these numbers, let you know if anything changes. That's really the only trouble spot that I could find in our area. Look how gloomy it is here at RDU. The gray skies, the rain coming down still at the airport. The tarmac is wet. Very gloomy out there. I want to show you, we have this little boundary here. It's called a trough, and it's going to be north of this trough where we'll have the highest rain chances. Look at the dew points in Fayetteville and Southern Pines. Not bad, in the low 60s. Everyone else, the dew point is in the 70s. So there's more moisture here, more opportunity for some showers and a few isolated storms to develop. Really, for the rest of the day, we'll have that chance into the evening hours. And then once we get to 7, 8 o'clock, the chance drops to about a 20% chance. So the exercise forecast for today, you might want to opt for the gym because it is very muggy across most of the area. Temperatures will climb into the upper 70s. Now, we do have some drier air that's going to move in. This low pressure system is going to move away from us this upcoming weekend, and so the humidity is going to drop. So that's going to feel pretty good over the weekend. Saturday and Sunday both look like nice days. This is a look at the drop in the humidity. Still tropical today, still pretty humid Wednesday and Thursday. We start to see improvements Friday, but you'll especially feel it over the weekend. And Sunday is the first official day of fall. Beautiful with low humidity, mostly sunny, and 76 for the high temperature to kick off the fall season. Still unsettled for the next few days, but by the end of the week and into the weekend, much quieter weather and turning.
As we wrap things up, here's a look at a few of the headlines we're following today.
We are still seeing a few of those.